Look at you, you can barely get through the lane! You can barely get through the lane! You are not gonna compare the black people being enslaved, being treated as less than human, to you not being able to sit in an airplane seat. I'm sure her heart is in the right place. She wants to enact change, but the greatest change could come from the treadmill. So I was doing my daily doom scrolling today, and I saw a very interesting video in my feed.
I'm dedicating 2025 to fighting for the Fat Equality Bill of Rights, and I want you to be part of this revolution.
So there is this lady, and she's a fat activist, and as you saw, she is fighting for the Fat People Bill of Rights and starting a revolution. Now, if you guys remember, a couple of years ago, I made many videos about fat activists, criticizing and making fun of them, and I stopped for a while, and now I'm a little wiser, I'm older, I'm a little more empathetic, so I'm gonna try to keep this video a little more respectful and keep it to under 10 fat jokes. So let's hear her out, let's see what she has to say.
Every day, fat individuals face barriers that nobody should have to live with. Whether it's being turned away from a doctor's office, not fitting into seats on public transportation, or being unfairly judged in the workplace. These aren't just inconveniences, they're human rights violations. The Fat Equality Bill of
around
Rights
that word
is
human
a critical
right
step
violations
towards
a little
changing
liberally,
all
but
of that.
I
A set of
guess.
protections designed to ensure fat people are treated with the same respect, dignity, and access to basic rights as everybody else.
I'm sorry, but when you're double the size of everyone else and you know, it just looks funny, you're never going to be treated with the same respect, especially when it's your own doing. So I doubt you're going to get far with this.
And it's time to make this a reality. Just like the civil rights movements that have reshaped history, we're fighting for a world where fat people...
You are not going to compare the black people being enslaved, forced to do labor for no money, being treated as less than human, to you not being able to sit in an airplane seat because you had an extra Twinkie for the past 12 years every single day. It's not the same situation. Don't like make them look worse for your own situation.
Are treated with fairness, not just tolerance. This is about the right to exist without fear of discrimination, exclusion, or ridicule.
I have a great solution for her, but she definitely does not want to hear it out.
This bill will protect fat individuals in every area of life. From healthcare to employment, transportation to education, the Fat Equality Bill of Rights isn't just a piece of paper. It's a movement that will reshape how society views, treats, and accommodates fat people.
So this bill, rather than telling people, hey, your health is important, lose weight, is going to say, oh, you know, fat people are cool now. Let's just let them be. It's all good if you're fat. No, that seems like it's going to be harmful to society, in my opinion. It was winter of 2 or so years ago, and I had bulked in the gym, and I bulked a little too hard. I got to like 205 pounds. So, rather than starting a movement telling people to accept my lack of movement, I decided to lose weight. I ate less food, I exercised more, and I felt much better.
All right, let's debunk the fatphobic solutions to small plane seats. Ready? Let's go. Rebuttal number 1, just lose weight. Oh.
Totally fair solution to me.
So I should just change my entire body to accommodate your comfort? It's not my job to shrink myself to fit into spaces that were never designed for me in the first place. And let's not even get into the fact that losing weight isn't a simple fix. It's not a one-size-fits.
So she says, oh, so I should just change my entire body to accommodate your comfort? No, it's not my comfort. I don't care what you do. Personally, it's your comfort. If you want to be more comfortable in all facets of life, sorry, not fat sits, it would be beneficial for you, not just for airplane seats, but for everything to lose weight, because I feel like you would live a lot more comfortably.
It's all solution. Rebuttal number 2, upgrade to first class. First class is a luxury, not a solution.
I don't think, based off of looking at you, you could fit in first class, so it's definitely not a solution.
And guess what? First class isn't even big enough for some fat bodies.
Yeah.
The cost is way out of reach for most people. And upgrading doesn't solve the fundamental issue of undersized seats for fat people in economy. Fix the system, not the people.
I agree, that's not a
Rebuttal
solution.
number 3, don't fly then. I'll just stop living my life because the world isn't built for me. Flying is a necessity for
stop flying and get on the treadmill.
many people, whether for work, family, or travel. Telling fat people to just stay home is not a solution, it's exclusion.
I'm not telling them to stay home, I'm telling them to get outside and do stuff.
Rebuttal number 4, flying isn't right? It's a privilege. Sure, flying is a privilege, but basic human dignity and accessibility are rights. No one should be excluded from traveling comfortably or safely because of their body size. Let's focus on equality, not exclusion.
Let's focus on accountability, maybe just, taking some sort of responsibility for the things you can't do in life.
Rebuttal number 5.
Look at you, you
I have
can't,
to
you
pay
can
extra
barely get through the lane. You can barely get through the lane. I'm sorry, how do you see that and be like, oh, it's the airplane's fault that it can't accommodate me again? But let's continue. After that, we're going to move on to her experience at the doctor's office.
Come with me to establish care with a new provider in my hometown, Kennewick, Washington. If you're plus size, seeing a new provider can come with a lot of anxiety and worry. As you can see, I was anxious.
I will say, I'm a little bit older. I am capable of some empathy. I'm sure no matter what your situation, if you are fat, I'm sure it is very anxiety inducing to see a doctor because you know what they're going to say. But what I disagree with is what she's about to say next.
Seeing a new provider as a plus size individual. First, I make a list of my health concerns and goals for the appointment so I can keep the conversation on track. I put these in my notes app on my phone. At the start of the visit, I set boundaries by saying something like, I have certain issues I'd like to focus on and I'd like to not discuss weight or weight loss.
If you say, hey doc, I'm having a problem. I'm not sleeping well at night. And the reality of it is your heart is not able to help you function well enough when you're sleeping because there's so much weight. The doctor has to talk about that because a lot of the problems you have in life, health related, are going to stem from you being fat. So avoiding the big issue here, literally the big issue, is a big issue.
I redirect by asking for weight-neutral treatments or evidence-based solutions for my symptoms.
Weight-neutral treatments.
In my notes app, I will also write affirmations like my body deserves respect no matter its size to remind myself I'm in control of the appointment.
I don't know what kind of loser approach this is. If I'm fat, which I've been bigger at the end of some bulks, the affirmations I'm writing down in my notes app are, you fat pig, get to work, you don't deserve to look like this. Rather than affirmations, we need to normalize giving yourself deformations, which definitely isn't a real word, but you gotta just be honest with yourself, just delusioning yourself into being like, it's okay. No, that's not gonna get you anywhere.
Sometimes I'll bring a trusted friend for support or take notes to stay focused. I'm going to address in another video what I do if I feel disrespected or dismissed. It's taken me a long time to learn to advocate for myself, and now I want to share with you what I've learned.
Doctor, you can't keep saying I'm fat. It's fat phobic. You can't tell me that me being fat is the source of my health problems. Shame on you, doc. No, you don't advocate for that. Maybe listen to the person who's a professional and is telling you this is the reason you're having all these problems. It's your fault for not accepting who I am. It's a doctor.
You want to know what changed my life? I was on my deathbed.
Okay, we get a little story here.
Struggling to breathe, unsure
I
if I
wonder
could
why.
live another day. And that's when I realized, if I don't speak up now, fat people like me might never have the chance to live fully. I wasn't sure
I have a fantastic solution for how you can live fully.
how much time I had left, but I knew it was now or never. And that's when I started fighting for us, for fat liberation, for the right to exist, to thrive, and to take.
This could have been such a good story if she just changed the ending. She could have been like, I was on my deathbed, fighting to breathe, fighting to stay alive. And that's when I realized I do have stuff to live for. So I started going to the gym. What the hell is on top of my head? Sorry. This could have been such a better story if she just changed the ending. I was on my deathbed. I was in pain. I was, fighting for my life. And that's when I realized I had so much to live for. So I started working out, eating healthier. And now my life is much better. But for some reason, she decided I need to fight for fat rights and stay exactly how I am, but make sure, I feel better about myself. All right, we got another airplane content here.
Make their product smaller every year. Then they blame us for not fitting. If your car got smaller every year, wouldn't you be pissed? Seats are getting smaller. Seatbelts are getting shorter. And they pack us in tighter so they can make more money.
Honey, sweetie, I don't believe that airplanes are getting smaller. I think, relatively they may seem like they're getting smaller, but that's because you're getting bigger. Oh, this seatbelt fits me less than it did last year. I wonder why that is. The airplane must be getting smaller. I mean, it's just a utter shield of delusion from any kind of accountability whatsoever. I bet she doesn't even weigh herself or measure herself, so she doesn't even know which direction she's going. You gotta have some reality. You just delusioning yourself into not being able to see reality is not gonna get you anywhere. And it's clearly not getting you into an airplane seat. So I don't know what the whole thing is. And one more, we get one of the most ludicrous displays of her, being super happy about being fat.
FatCon in Seattle, Washington, January 5th
FatCon!
And I want to see you there. FatCon
No.
is a 3-day fat liberation celebration, y'all. We will be celebrating fat liberation, body acceptance, and the power of being in fat community. With over
What is it, just a pizza party?
60 hours of programming spanning from policy, legislation, healthcare, community, and visual arts, plus a ton more, this is sure to be something you don't want to miss. The vibes are going to be immaculate. With a fat brunch, a fat fashion show, and a fat vendor marketplace, there is so much to do.
That sounds like the most depressing thing ever. A fat brunch, so just like 60 fat people sitting down, eating muffins and donuts and bagels, being like, oh, this is great, isn't it? Yeah, all right, yeah. Like, no, that's not, you should not be celebrating that. If you had like a fat camp where everyone sits down, agrees, yeah, we got to be better to ourselves, we got to treat our bodies right, that's something. That's like, all right, we're committing to getting better. But this is just being like, yeah, all right, this donut's delicious, huh? It's great being fat. No, I will not be attending fat camp. I think it's already passed, actually. But yeah, that's not going to be conducive to anyone's happiness or success. If you're watching this and you're fat, I really am trying to be more respectful than I have in the past. I used to just make fat jokes. But it's not, when you're fat, you act like you're inconveniencing us and we're complaining about you, but the person you're really hurting is yourself. You need to be honest with yourself, accept reality, and understand that change is only going to happen from you, not from us. This whole fat liberation story, I'm sure her heart is in the right place. She wants to enact change, but the greatest change could come from the treadmill and from learning, how to cook healthy meals, stuff like that. So I hope she finds peace in life and is able to lose the weight, but this isn't something that's going to be conducive to that. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts on this whole fat liberation situation in the comments. And, yeah, with that being said, see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Orange Peanut wants you to subscribe because he needs more money.